Good morning. Oh, it's going to be a long day. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. I haven't even got the microphone out. Oh, it's going to be a long, warm day today. Good morning. If you are watching, do please pop a hello in the comments so that I know I'm not waffling to myself, which I happily do. Good morning, Jane the Socks Mortimer. How are you? Good morning, Jay. Good morning to myself. Apparently, I've just said hello. Good morning to myself. Good morning, Karen. Told you it was going to be a long day. Good morning, Kerry. It is very warm and sunny here in Hampshire. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Leslie. Have a good day at work. Good morning, Alison. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Sue. It is warm already. Shouldn't complain because, well, we do complain because you're British. If you're British, it's tradition to complain about the weather. You complain when it rains too much, and then you complain when it's too hot. It's just one of those things we have to do. Good morning, Maharet. Sarah, it is beautiful out there, just too hot maybe. Yeah, I'm not very good in the heat, I must admit. I need a nice hammock and some margaritas or something, although I'm not allowed a hammock. Apparently I'd fall out of it. I don't know what that's all about. It's just rude. Good morning, Maria. It might well be true, but good morning, Christine. It's definitely a day for sitting about doing nothing. Most of us can't, but we live in hope. Be careful what we wish for, then, haven't we? Yeah, I need to work to pay the bills. So, good morning, Kay. Good morning, Sasha. Lots of lovely people here already. Good morning, Heather. See, I talk about lovely people, and lots more lovely people arrive. Good morning, Luna. Welcome, everyone, to Friday in July. Good evening, Jodie in Australia. Time zones. Good morning, Jenny. Karen says it's dull grey in Manchester with a slight chill in the air. We'll send some sunshine your way, Karen. Good morning, Leslie Ann. So lovely to meet you the other weekend again. Good morning to Pete and Eric. Pete is working hard opposite me, and Eric is fast asleep. Yeah, there you go. Christine has just finished a whole large washing basket. It's all on the line. How satisfying is that? Hanging out the washing is very satisfying. Already walked the dogs. Sit down time for me now. Well earned, I think, Christine. Well earned. Good morning, Carla. If anybody missed it, good morning to Barbara. 4 a.m. in North Carolina. Barbara, you're mad. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Mandy. If you missed it last weekend, it was MoonCon, run by the publisher Moon Books. Fantastic weekend. 2 whole days of free talks from lots of different Moon Books authors on all kinds of subjects. I learned loads of stuff. If you missed it, it's all available for replay on the Moon Books Facebook page and the Moon Books YouTube channel. Lots and lots of fun we had. All sorts of subjects. It was brilliant. And thank you to everyone that joined us. Good morning, Andrea. So here we are at Friday. Janet watching from Columbus, Ohio. Welcome, Janet. Let's not make the table wobble. Xenia, is the video stuck only for me? No, it seems all right this end, but who knows? Technology, it's always fun, isn't it? Hopefully it moves for you. Sephora, let's get some of these up. The free talks are amazing. Slowly working way through them all, but mostly, earlier, different time zones, which is why the replays are good. Loved the lady who talked about the Druid Hindu connection. Wasn't that fascinating? That was Ellen Everett Hopman. She was fascinating talking about those connections. It was fantastic. Christine loved all the Moonbooks talks. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, it was great fun. Lots of stuff to plow through. But, today I thought Sasha really enjoyed MoonCon too. Thank you. It will be happening again next year. Keep your eyes peeled and your diaries free. Don't know what day it'll be yet, but it will be happening again. It's one of those days today where I wanted to talk a little bit about magical self-care, which is quite personal, really, because I need some. We have done so much in the last couple of months. It has been stupidly chaotic and busy that I put my hand up to it. I have not done any self-care, and I've made myself rubbish, basically. So that's what I wanted to talk about today: magical ways and a few mundane ways of self-care. Andrea loved Magic of Cats. Andrew Anderson is brilliant when he writes, and he's brilliant when he talks. That's his new book, Magic of Cats. Yes, and pictures of his lovely cats was fantastic. Zephora, thank you to you and Peter. Beavering away in the background. Yes, we were behind the scenes both days at MoonCon, pressing the buttons, basically. Xenia, video works now. Yes. Have to catch up with all the Moonbooks talks because I was totally busy. Do you know, it has been, hasn't it? I can't believe how busy June and July have been. It's been chaos, not just with stuff that I've been out to or talks that I've done, but a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes as well. It has been silly. So glad to see that all my get up and go has gone. My get up and go has definitely gone. And I have been bad. I've been put in the naughty corner for doing too much. It's difficult to practice what you preach sometimes.
Several times too.
Get back to work. Christine, I have some Nag Shampoo massage oil. Oh, I bet that smells lovely. Love the scent after giving my feet and legs a massage. It would be nice to have some aromatherapy massage too. That is one of the things I wanted to talk about, was the different way our senses can boost us as well. Sasha, sending you sparkly, replenishing vibes. Thank you. I know it's so easy to burn out when you want to do all the things. Yes, definitely. Sephora, it's a seasonal thing. Midwinter here and we're recharging. Garden is a bit asleep, so we get a break. Winter is definitely a recharge time, isn't it? Good morning, Trudy. Maria, you've been going on interesting journeys. Yeah, there's been so much happening lately. It has been chaos. I've got a couple of talks next week for Witches Fest USA, which I'm looking forward to, and then it does calm down a little bit till the Artemis gathering. But there's all sorts of things, other things that need doing. Good morning, Pia. Thank you to the lovely Pia for organising Pagan Tribal Gathering. I had my T-shirt on at last week's Friday morning chat. You missed my T-shirt. Pagan Tribal Gathering was amazing, absolutely amazing, and thank you for that, Pia. Yes, Alison says, after 2 years of nothing, the sudden busy period is rather tiring on the old body. I think that's it, isn't it? As well, with having had the 2 years where we weren't going out, we weren't doing stuff, it's all kind of happening. Excuse me.
You could just ask.
I don't have a drink at all, actually. I forgot to bring my water in.
You're crap.
I am crap at the moment. I am really crap at the moment. Sue, did anyone notice that here in the UK we haven't really had any kind of winter, just one long season? Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? We didn't really have that kind of change of season. It does all sort of merge into one at the minute. Zephora, I have to say, have been waiting for the proverbial to hit the wall. We can send you both all a spawn. Thank you. Pete just sails along, you know. I crash and burn in a big heap on the floor. He's still singing happy vibes at 6 o'clock in the morning. Xenia, keep my fingers crossed that I can make Artemis Gathering. So gutted that the train strike destroyed the pagan tribal gathering. Yeah, the train strike was rubbish, wasn't it? It caused so many problems for the man on the street. Lots of people missed fantastic things, which is a shame. So fingers crossed for that. But I think one of the things that kind of struck me, girls and I went to London on Wednesday. We went to see the Stonehenge exhibition. Thank you very much. Kettle's on. Excellent. We went up to see the Stonehenge exhibition. Train was all fine. Got to London, and I'm not good in big crowds of people. I know it's easy to see me sitting here talking to you guys and to stand on the stage at Witchfest with a microphone and talk to hundreds of people. I think people get the impression that she's fine, she's confident, she does that. It's not an issue. Believe me, it never was, actually. It was only when the perimenopause hit that I started to experience things like anxiety, panic attacks, stress, meltdowns, the whole lot. And I am still struggling with it. That's why I wrote somewhere there, Curative Magic, because it deals with all of those issues from a magical perspective. Because we're magical people, because we are witches, pagans, spiritual folk, whatever we might be, we actually have a magical toolkit that we can draw upon to help us deal with these situations. The key, and the bit that I'm not very good at, is remembering that you have that magical kit to help you deal with those issues. So we went up to London, and I was a bit prepared. I knew there'd be lots of people. Then there were all sorts of traffic issues, and the taxi situation was a nightmare trying to get a taxi. But we had a very nice taxi driver in the end. When we got into the exhibition, there were so many people in there. I could feel the whole panic thing coming on. Breathe, breathe. Looking at the exhibits in their little cases. And the first one we looked at, I'm standing there reading the thing, and the man standing behind me was so close, he was actually pushing against my rucksack. Now, my rucksack's only a couple of inches deep. That's how close behind me he was standing. And other people to this side and other people to this side. No social distancing whatsoever. No manners, no thought for other people. Rant. It was horrendous. And I could feel the panic rising. I actually had to step away and go and find a space in the centre of the room that was quiet, that was empty, and breathe and ground and centre myself. I'd already put my shields up, but I had to, forget red alert shields up. I had to get into my Voyager spaceship and put my whole deflector shields on. Because I felt so overwhelmed by all of the people. I thought it would have been incredibly embarrassing to have a complete meltdown in the middle of the exhibition. So I didn't really deal with that initially, but when I realized what was happening, I brought in my shields, I did my grounding, I did my centering, and I kind of dealt with it from there. So it happens. It does happen to people that you don't think it might happen to. Sasha, do you think work experience is part of being an empath? I think most of us spiritual folk are empathic. I do pick up on the energies of everyone else. But I had already put my psychic shields up. I had my bubble shield. It just wasn't strong enough. And I should have been prepared for that, and I wasn't. However, once I stepped back from it and boosted deployed the Stonewall mirror deflector shield, it was okay. Xenia, great that you've seen the Stonehenge exhibition. I loved it. I thought the title was very misleading because there wasn't a lot about Stonehenge itself, but there were some very interesting bits there. The cauldron was particularly interesting, and the shields that were found in the River Thames. So yeah, it was interesting to see. Janet says, where's the coffee? The kettle's just boiled, Janet. Sue, same here. Always been a very confident person. When I got to a certain age, it all went out the window. It all came with the perimenopause, the whole lot, panic attacks, anxiety, everything. It sucks, basically. Leslie Ann, can't make it, just have to get the book. The book looks brilliant too. You've got all the photos and all the information in the book. And you can sit in the comfort of your own home and not have strange men squishing themselves up to you. Maria, people need to have more spatial awareness and respect personal space. I was surprised, given the whole pandemic thing, that people were so obviously happy to get up close and personal. So yeah, I was quite surprised, I must admit, but there you go. Good morning, Charlie. Thank you. I have coffee now. The world is righted. So should have stepped back right on his foot. I should have done, but I'm far too polite. Xenia, thanks for talking about these issues. I think it affects a lot of us. I think it does. And I think you have to kind of realize that there are a lot of people that you don't expect it to happen to that are dealing with it too. Things are jumping up. Peopling, I like that term. Peopling is very difficult since lockdowns and Sheila. Yeah, it is. It is an empathic thing. But I think most spiritual folk, if you're used to dealing with energy, then you pick up on stuff. Xenia, I knew the title was a bit misleading, so I wasn't disappointed. Being prepared for it, I guess. Sasha, completely relate to what you're saying. I've dealt with panic disorder for years and it's so debilitating at times. I do find that flower remedies help. Sue, Ness and Maria and myself were up there together. Sue felt exactly the same. There were too many people there not respecting other people's space. But I think it is one of those things that when it first happened, I wasn't expecting it. And I have had quite a few panic attacks. I tend to have them when I have overwhelmed myself, which is the space I'm in at the moment. I find it very uncomfortable to talk about. I can't believe I'm talking to you guys about it, but I think it helps. If it helps someone else, then that's good. I have pushed myself past that point of you've gone past the limit of taking on too much, doing too much. That's when the panic attacks start happening. That's when the chest pains and the shortness of breath and the dizzy spells and all the other crap comes with it happens. So it really is, if you are running on empty, then you are doing damage to yourself. And yes, I am aware that my husband's glaring at me and nodding. I think for me, that is perhaps the first step. And I do write about it in the Curative Magic book. The mundane steps to deal with it first. Christine, trust me, when you get through the menopause, you don't give a bleep bleep. Oh, I hope not. Heather, agree the exhibition should have been titled to show it was demonstrating the cultural exchanges that happened. It was quite misleading, wasn't it, I think? There was some interesting stuff in there, definitely. Charlie, if your psychic shields are up, what are the strongest next level protection to do? Sometimes could you just leave and clear energy or both? Well, I'd gone in there because I knew I was going to be with lots of people. I'd gone in there with my normal bubble shield up, which is the one that is a classic, the bubble shield. And I'd gone prepared. But because I think I am running on empty, my energy levels were probably low anyway. And there were so many people. Thankfully, I realized it was happening and took myself to a quiet space. I grounded first and centered so that I was in a clear head space. And then rather than just having my bubble, I threw everything at it. I got into my Star Trek runabout and I switched on the deflector shields and I threw up every barrier that I had that I could manage just to get through it. So you have to do what works for you, whether it is putting up brick walls, mirror shields, the whole works. I work with the whole Star Trek analogy because it works for me. I just had to throw everything at it. Jane, if too many people in my space, I start making heavy heaving noises and say, I think I'm going to be sick. Suddenly I have space. That'll do it. That'll do the trick. Maria, crazy as it sounds, I ground and shield while sitting on the tube. No, it's not crazy at all. Taking its energy and keeping my feet on the floor, and then I'm okay when I leave. Perfect. Perfect. Although I don't like going on the tube, which is why we had to wait for a taxi. It's underground. I don't want to be buried underground. Maria, it was eerily quiet at the exhibition. We felt that we had to whisper the whole time. It was really, really quiet. It could have done with a little bit of background noise, I think. Xenia, a fan of Bach flower remedies. We used, actually, the rescue remedy I've used for many years. I gave it to my daughter as well when she was doing things like interviews and exams. Rescue remedies, good stuff. Interesting, Jenny, isn't it? I didn't realise that. The Stonehenge exhibit made me feel a bit icky when I realised it was sponsored by BP. I wasn't aware of that until this morning, actually, when the British Museum sent me a survey to complete. I wasn't aware that they sponsored it. Interesting connection, isn't it? Karen, Christine's right. It's such a relief when you're through it and you don't care what people think anymore. It's very liberating. Yeah, roll on that. I must be fairly close to the other side of it. Must be. Sephora, my youngest is neurodiverse and I think possibly his mother too, since menopause picked that scab. Yeah, menopause sucks. Have witnessed the scariness of panic attacks firsthand and being overwhelmed by the energy. It is incredibly scary. A couple of years back when I got myself into the overwhelmed situation, probably the worst I've ever been, the doctor thought I'd had a heart attack because of the chest pains that I had. Thankfully, I hadn't. It was just stress and doing too much. But I do get chest pains with it, and it's very, very scary. Jane, our protective bubbles can only take so much compression before they start to squash us too. Yeah, absolutely. The weight on them. Sue, agree with Christine. Once through it, you're on the home run and bleep the world. Yeah. That's interesting, Sasha. A lot of my friends are saying that people seem to have forgotten how to behave properly towards each other since lockdown finished. I wonder if some people need socializing again. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I was very surprised how disrespectful people were in the exhibit of other people's personal space. It was quite surprising. Xenia, resting bitch face and glaring at people also helps. Yeah. Should have got my granny weatherwax stare on, shouldn't I? Definitely.
I've seen that one.
You have seen that one. Problem solved by wearing an extra large yoke, then a slight twist and the crowds are gone. Or do what I do and growl and scowl at them. Yeah. Yes, Sue says something else that keeps people away from you is a good cough. Absolutely. I think for me, I did manage to pull myself back that time. Thankfully, other times recently when it's happened, Pete has been with me and he's realised and rescued me. But I think recognising and acknowledging that that's what's happening, that you are beginning an anxiety attack or a panic attack, or the fact, as I am now, realising that I've done too much, I have really drained myself. Now the dog needs a blanket. That's why I can throw it from here. It is recognising and acknowledging that it's happening or that you've reached that point. Then you can do something about it. So that is, I think that's an important part of it. Underlying causes, realising what the underlying causes are. I know with me it is that I have taken on too much and done too much, and I am at that empty reserve point. That's when they hit me worse. So realising what the underlying causes are, it could be anything. It could be a loss of job, worrying about money, or death in the family. It could be all sorts of things that trigger those stress, grief, anxiety, all the other band members. So it's realising what the underlying cause is and then doing something about it. Again, easy to say, but not so easy to realise or to do. Once you have realised it, you can do something about it. Sasha wants me to do the Granny Weatherwax stare. You have to be in the right situation.
I'll cry.
Yeah, I don't want to make Pete cry. Andrea, completely lost my plot in India. There's no concept of personal space. It is chaotic. It always looks chaotic. It does always look chaotic. Xenia, I noticed exactly the same. They're so loud and are partying so loud. Police out and about, a lot of them, and people completely forgotten how to behave at the airport. Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, we've kind of, it's like opening the gates, floodgates, isn't it? And like, yeah. Charlie, thank you for sharing. Struggle with anxiety and have been criticizing myself recently that I should have healed, resolved it by now. Really struggle with anxiety. I have attacks where I freeze, hold. Yeah. I've had such bad days that I can't step outside of the door. In fact, I nearly didn't go to London with the girls. They will tell you that at first I turned down the invitation because I didn't want to step outside of the house. Thankfully, the girls persuaded me to go. And other than the episode in the actual exhibition, we had a good old day because we had a good natter and we found a nice cafe, and got to go to the Atlantis bookshop as well, which is fab. If you ever get the chance to go there, it's wonderful. But I think you also have to remember that you aren't broken, that you don't need fixing. You just need to acknowledge that these things happen and try and find the cause of them and how you can best deal with them. I mean, I am hoping, thank you ladies for all your encouragement about the other side of menopause being wonderful. I'm hoping that once menopause is all finished, then these things will just disappear, she says, hopefully.
Me too.
Yes, yeah, poor Pete's had to put up with all sorts of stuff. But I think it's about acknowledging that that's happening and realizing how you can deal with it. It might be that you can't get rid of them, you can't stop them, but you can work out how you best deal with them personally. And as I say, there is mundane stuff. It is the realizing what's happening, acknowledging what's happening, and then working out ways to deal with them. For me, it was the shields, it was grounding, centering, and then stronger shields, which if I wasn't a magical person, I wouldn't have in my toolkit to use. So it's a bonus coming from that spiritual kind of point of view that I had those magical tools to deal with it. So it is about realizing, acknowledging, knowing why it's happening, what's caused it really helps you to work out a plan of action to deal with it. And releasing helps as well. You've got to wrap your head around letting things go. Negative emotions, they just fester, and they can, cause all sorts of grief. Let's get to the comments. Ooh, things all shot up then. Oh, lots of comments. Barbara had a horrible feeling come over me years ago riding on the interstate after some family had been in an auto accident. Oh, nasty. Friend helped me through it by putting me in her old pickup truck every morning and taking me through the panic as I rode down the interstate. Saved my sanity. Realization. Accepting that it happened, understanding what had happened, and then how to deal with it. It's all part of that process, I think. Trudy, I feel that if you're in a place that you personally want to be and then the space becomes overwhelming with certain energies and yours is under par, then it becomes too much. That's what happened to me. But I do think people need to step back again, definitely. Christine, being asthmatic does help as my cough can be horrendous. Guarantee I can clear the space around me. Well, there's a bonus to being asthmatic, if you can count that as a bonus. Jane, started having panic attacks as soon as I hit the menopause. Yeah. Noticed they only seem to happen when the air quality is poor. Interesting. There was a lot of aircon on in the exhibition. Perhaps too many people using all the air in a limited space. The aircon was on. The air was quite dry in there. Leslie Ann, maybe try radiating energy from your dantian, charging it via root and crown to power your shield, so that as people intrude into your space, your shield either embraces or deflects them. Definitely. Good way of dealing with it. I tend to draw energy from the earth to power my shield. But if you do work with your chakras, then that would work too. Everyone, I think it is about finding a way, isn't it, of dealing with it yourself. I know that my personal bubble shield, when I went in there, wasn't right, because I'm depleted. So that's why it wasn't strong enough. Xenia, I thought about that. A man I know has asthma, and only after explaining his cough to me, I wasn't panicking anymore. Charlie, I have anxiety panic attack where overwhelmed, not safe. I freeze, hold my breath. I'm called them locked in a box. Thank you for sharing it. Normalizes it. I felt myself breathe out while you spoke. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? It's a bit like the menopause. Talk about it, because people don't realize that other people are going through it, or other people are dealing with it. Luna, once you are aware and you know your triggers, you can learn to calm them down before they get out of hand. That's what I found. Sometimes it is hard to stop, but yes, you're right. If I realized at that point that if I didn't do something about it, I was going to be really embarrassing and have a complete meltdown in the middle, which wouldn't have been fun. But because we've got those magical tools to draw on, we are a bit more equipped than other people. It's a bit of a blessing, really. Jay, same thing happened to me, and I turned and asked the person to move back and give me more space. Postmenopausal woman here. I should have done, really, shouldn't I? Menopausal woman, stand back. Sephora, it gets less worse once you get to menopause, but for me, not completely. But now women are finally got forum to discuss menopause. I know I'm not alone. It's talking about it, isn't it? It is really talking about it. Sasha is recommending Claire Weekes books. Were really, really helpful. I don't know those. I will look them up. Interesting. Jane, not sure I want to embrace an intruder. Kind of defeats the object of the bubble. This is hay fever, by the way. Yeah, I must admit, I kind of, I like, in that situation where I was then, my shield had to deflect people. There was no way I was embracing any of them. For me, I had to deflect them. But you have to do what works for you. And everyone is different. Charlie, struggle to leave the house too. Love Star Trek. Yeah, I do like that. Gonna try them. Playful silliness seems to break spells. When I'm around kids, they say such funny things. Seems attacks seem to pass quicker. Well, laughter is energy. It is a way of dealing with it. I use Star Trek to visualize things like red alert, shields up, and I actually hear the Star Trek door sound as the doors close, because it works for me. Xenia, love the Enterprise shield. Yeah, I used it frequently when I was in a bad work environment. Enterprise shield is an image that works well for me. Also, putting myself in a white light is useful. Yeah, my bubble shield is normally just the shields up kind of thing. I felt I needed more in that situation, so I literally put myself in a runabout. Sasha, sometimes I have so many crystals stuffed in my bra to cope with the energies when I go out. I look like I've got broccoli. Yeah, I don't do the crystal in my bra thing, but I know the girls do. And if it works for you, go for it. Thank you for explaining, Leslie Ann. Your shield embraces the energies that enhance yours and deflects those that don't. That makes perfect sense. Thank you. Sephora, my handbag is a lethal weapon too with crystals. Yeah. Oh, Maria likes the look of my coffee. It's London Nootropics. It is
posh and expensive.
It's posh and expensive, but I only have 1 cup a day. It is got added superfoods to it, and it's lovely. It's a real kind of chocolatey coffee. It's yummy. Gonna have some now. Yum. Karen, I get panic attacks in the night, but I'm learning to deal with them so they don't happen as much now. I don't really get them in the day anymore. Well, that's progress. That is progress. Xenia, laughter and playful silliness, a reason I love chaos magic. All of our Kitchen Witch events involve laughter. It raises the energy and the vibes, absolutely. Sasha recommending the Claire Weeks book, Self-Help for Your Nerves. Older book, but still so effective. Excellent. Obviously, I'm going to recommend my Curative Magic book because, you know,
It's behind you.
It is behind me, yeah. Because I have dealt with all of the issues: anxiety, stress, panic attacks, sleeplessness, menopause, menses.
Husband that's too sexy.
Husband that's too sexy. Do I need to manage that then? That's all in the book, with magical things to deal with it. There are obviously, it was mentioned crystals there. There are crystals that you can work with. I was a bit unprepared, really. I should have taken a crystal with me or worn a crystal. I should have taken a spell bag with me to draw on the energies for protection. I just wasn't prepared because I'm just flooped, basically. So I wasn't thinking straight. Christine, the person that helped me during the worst times was a lady called Susan Weed. She said to just accept that it's a natural thing to sit back and go with the ride. Use of herbs helped me too. Witch's brew from Starchild helped me to relax too. Starchild have some lovely things. When I first hit the perimenopause, I did think it's natural. I need to sit back and go with the ride. When the hormones overtook my personality completely, I had to accept that I needed some medical help. So I sought out a female doctor who had been through the menopause herself. She provided me with the drugs man to help me through it. So yes, I absolutely agree. It is a natural thing. And to a certain extent, go with the flow. But if things do get too bad, there is medical help. You just need to ask for it. Good morning, Charlotte. Good morning, Elizabeth. Oh, there's a link there to my posh coffee. Thank you. Zephora, it's good you had the posse around you. I'd imagine the energy would help. Giggle Fest magic, yeah. Because the ladies have all been through the menopause or are still got the dregs of it too. So it's about understanding that we're all in it together, really. Barbara's now getting visions of broccoli bras. Heather, a husband who is so modest. Yeah, you know him too well, Heather. Maria, maybe the Claire Weeks book is for hitting people who get on your nerves. Like you're thinking. Oh, the sun's arrived with Karen. See, I told you we'd send it your way. So I think with any of this stuff, crappy stuff, there are everyday things you can do. When I realised that I'd hit the bottom of the barrel recently, I knew I had to do something about it. I'm still honouring all of the commitments that I agreed to, but I've also given myself some space. I took yesterday off, had the day off, and we have a quiet weekend this weekend. I'm also going to reflexology when I finished my chat with you this morning, because reflexology is my sanity booster. It is the most amazing holistic therapy in the world. Yeah, avoiding the flying ants, which are all invading us at the moment outside. So I think it does start with having your magical toolkit to deal with the attacks or the stress or the anxiety when it hits you. But there is everyday practical stuff, such as giving yourself time and space, doing things you enjoy doing, reading books, crocheting, sewing, listening to music. All of those things can help you relax and recharge. But that's all part of natural self-care, really. I think saying no is a difficult one for me. Setting boundaries for work, for even family members and friends as well. I can't say no to the girls because they just beat me up. In fact, it's the girls that usually drag me out of the house when they realise that I've got myself stuck in that situation, which is actually what I need. But saying no to things when you are asked to take things on or do things when you're already overloaded it's difficult, and I am rubbish at it, but I am learning. So don't allow others to take advantage of your good nature, I think, is a lesson. A difficult one, but it is a lesson nonetheless. I think it's also sometimes when you're in that very low space, it's incredibly difficult to see the positive in things. Life can feel like it's just chucking lemons at you with no sight of any ending. Focusing on positive things help. Even in the darkest situations, there's hopefully at least one or two small things. So taking some time to sit and give thanks for what you have kind of helps as well. Let's have a look. We've got lots of comments come up here. Yeah, Sasha, agree. I think a blend of orthodox medicine and nature medicine can often be best. Everyone is an individual. And we're all although we're all experiencing similar symptoms and experiencing similar things, your bodies are all different and you're all different. So do what works for you. So don't tell Pete when you're through it. Us ladies have to keep our men on their toes.
That's rude.
I couldn't do that to him. So he's been through so much already. Xenia agrees. Why ditch one when you can have both? Yeah, let's have everything that we can get our hands on. Jody, shungite protects from radiation, worth a try. There are so many crystals that are really good for helping boost your physical, psychic, mental shield, but also boosting your energy and your emotions, your feelings. There's lots of crystals that can provide that for you. And again, it's about finding one that works for you as well. Sephora, go and float in the sea. Keeps my husband sane. Sometimes I just tell him to go and get soggy. Leslie Ann, hot stone massages are my fixer. I have not tried them. Thank you for that recommendation. I have seen them advertised, haven't tried those. Xenia, absolutely. Setting boundaries. Mostly us women are trained for people pleasing from early childhood. I think we are. We're all working wives, mothers, business women, whatever it is we do. We generally try and be in control of everything. And sometimes something has to give. Jane, coming out the tube station after a long day's Reiki training and feeling exhausted, I suddenly had a beggar in my face. No time to summon a bubble. She made my head swim and my stomach churn. She was so full on. It was like trying to unlatch a vampire. But when I told her I had no cash, she said, there's a cash machine over there. Oh no, my defenses kicked in. So she pounced on someone else. There's a mixture of people in the world. And whilst I do sympathize with a lot of people's situations, you can't be that in someone's face about it. That's not on. But thankfully, your defenses kicked in. And I guess that's reiterating that we have this magical toolkit that we can draw on. It's just a case of remembering to use it. Don't worry, so shungite is good. Shungite's good. Elizabeth, must read your book again. Being a carer is full on 24/7. Oh yeah, no, I'm with anybody that is a carer. Has hats off to you guys. Christine, message to Pete from my other half. Don't argue, just keep quiet and say there, dear, and also staying a good arm's length away. That's not in his nature, Christine. Actually, Monday we celebrate 30 years together and 24 years married. And I think one of the big important things of that is communication. Even on my really bad days when he asked me how I was and my ramblings probably didn't make any sense at all. I'm surprised he didn't call the men in white coats and get me a nice jacket that buckles up my arms. Communication for us has been key throughout all of the years and all of the ups and downs. But boundaries is an important thing. Hi, Francis. Yes, dogs are the best medicine. Eric was actually my menopause dog. Pete got him for me to help me deal with the menopause, and he absolutely has done. He's a git. Yeah, he's still a git, but we love him. Zephora is recommending hot stone massage as well. And Karen, okay, seems something that I need to try. Definitely something we need to try. Elizabeth, link for the posh chocolatey coffee. Sometimes it takes a while to appear. It will appear afterwards. Elizabeth, sorry, speech going. I did a review on it on my blog as well. It is called London Nootropics. It is yummy. Thank you, Jodie. Sasha, also want to say big thank you for being courageous enough to talk about this issue. I know what you mean about being taken advantage of. I was known as Golden Retriever with a previous peer group because I was so willing to please. That's just rude, not good in the long run. When I was debating about what to speak about this week, I had no idea. And then Wednesday happened and the exhibition and the whole panic attack. And I thought, that's what I've got to talk about. So I think you do have to realize what it is, what's happening, but know that you have this magical thing that you can deal with. So I'll run through kind of the basics. The book has them in loads of details for each specific one. Never underestimate the cleansing power of a good cry. And throughout menopause, I have had days when that's all I've done all day for no apparent reason. It can be very cathartic. It can help to cleanse and release some of the frustration. But if you are into working with affirmations, not specifically my thing, but words have power. Regular positive statements to change the way we think about ourselves and our situations. Chanting, repeating, I can deal with this, I can deal with this, I can deal with this, might work. It depends how you work with it. Sorry, just looking through the comments again. Alison, there's someone just diagnosed as peri. I'm now considering if my crowd anxiety isn't just post-pandemic, but a mixture of perimenopause and post-pandemic. Yeah, absolutely, Alison. I think that is quite likely. Quite likely. Jane, can't be in the same room as a piece of shungite. Weird effect, like it's trying to control me. I always say this about crystals. They are like people. They've all got their own personalities. They've all got their own characteristics. You're not going to get on with every person, so you're not going to get on with every crystal. I can't do it with hematite. Hematite does that to me. I feel like I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders with hematite. But it is, it's we've got to deal with it. So it's about working out how best to deal with it. Hi, Jackie. Good hubbies are so important, and cats or dogs, in fact, animals in general. Yeah, we celebrate 30 years this year too. Excellent. Happy anniversary for 30 years. Sue's found the coffee link. Don't think it's too expensive. No, I take one packet, lasts me 2 cups of coffee, so it's not too bad. Xenia. Yes, a strong behavior pattern takes a lot of work to break. It does, but it can be done. If you want to, that's one other thing to mention, particularly if you work with shadow work, which is a whole other subject. You will reveal the parts of your personality and your characteristics that are perhaps considered a little bit on the negative side. You have to decide whether you want to change them or not. I'm an organized control freak. Over the years, the control part has annoyed me and restricted me, and I have learnt to let go of that control. I needed to do that for me, but you have to decide whether you want to keep those parts of your personality that you perhaps don't like so much, or whether you do want to work on them. It's your call, absolutely. Charlie wants a hot stone massage too. Yep. Alison, thank you for talking about this. It's really made a difference here. Needed to hear this. You've made a difference. Oh, bless you. Don't. In the emotions I'm with today, you'll make me cry. It is a difficult one, and it is one that I've never really talked about me personally experiencing before. Although with the Curative Magic book, everything in that book, or the whole band, anxiety, stress, panic attack, I've experienced them all. I wouldn't write about it if I hadn't experienced them. It's just not something I particularly talked about. I know we've talked about the menopause before, and I think it needs to be talked about generally. To know that you aren't alone is a big step in it anyway. I think that's quite a big part of it. Christine, just know that you're brilliant. Oh, bless you. And you've opened a connection with all the ladies who really need to share this delicate subject. Your amazing group is there for everyone. Trust me, you will get through this all. Oh, don't you? Guys, really, if you're trying to make me cry, I think it is important that we talk about this stuff, that we are. And I mean, my Friday morning talks started at the beginning of lockdown as a way to keep a connection with everyone. And what we've actually created is such a fantastic support group for each other, which is why I love you guys when you comment, because we can share this stuff. And I think that is part of it, is sharing it. Rachel did a self-compassion course at the beginning of the pandemic and feel hugely different from using those practices. When times get tough, I place my hand on my heart and remind myself I'm not alone in my challenges, and that challenges are always changing. Guaranteed that the only guarantee in life is that things change, isn't it? Bless you. Thank you, Sasha. Leslie Ann, do miss crying now. I don't know what that word is. So Gren's syndrome has stolen all the moisture from my eyes. Oh no, makes me wonder about the witches can't cry notion Witchfinders had. Oh, interesting. Yes, interesting. Have a good day at work, Heather. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Jane, get two control freaks in the same room and it's like the irresistible force and the immovable barrier. Absolutely. Yeah. Support groups in a great community. Yeah, we got to look after each other. Jenny, very timely chat. Sunday having a mid-Sabbath moot and a lot of us are spoonies and we're making medicine bags for energy. Perfect. Oh, bless you, Jane. Thank you, everyone. Sephora, that support reaches around the planet now. That's magic. I think that's a big part of it, isn't it? It's about supporting each other. And that's another thing, is talking to. I mean, I'm lucky that people sit there and listen to my incoherent ramblings without sectioning me. And the girls, I wouldn't be without the Kitchen Witch posse. I probably, I'd be in the pit somewhere. So having people to talk to really, really helps. And I said it before and I will say it again. If you are struggling with anything, emotions, magic, any of this, menopause, the whole lot, if you're struggling, message us, message myself, message the Kitchen Witch gang. We'll listen. It is important to remember that you're not alone out there, particularly in this internet world. Where you can reach out and touch people even on the other side of the planet. But remember as well, that whole magical toolkit, affirmations is one thing. Colour magic I like to work with. Funny enough, I've got black on white on today. I don't wear black a lot. I tend to wear colour because I really feel that it affects how you feel and your emotions. I work with colour magic in my magic. I work with colour in my candle magic. I work with colour when I'm working with a spell. It might be crystals, it might be the candle, it might be the altar cloth. So I do work with colour magic when I'm dressing as well. I put this dress on today because it's hot and this is cool. But colour magic can really affect the way that our moods and emotions are. Herbs, love working with herbal magic. You can make yourself a little herbal pouch to carry with you. You can work with essential oils and incense. You can carry a little jar of salt around with you with a few drops of essential oil in. If you feel the panic attack coming on, if you feel the anxiety or the stress coming on, have a little whiff of your bottle of scented salt. And hopefully that scent will change your mood, will rescue you, bring you back from the brink. Foods all have magical properties, whether they are eaten or whether they're used in spell work. Herbal teas, if that's your thing, they can be created with all sorts of herbs and spices to help alleviate the negative issues, to help calm you down. to help kind of bring you back from the brink. Scent, I mentioned with the oils. You can do the same with incense. Scents bring up strong emotions. They can bring up memories of good times. They can boost and uplift you. If you've got a favorite one that kind of cheers you up. Just working an everyday ritual or a spell, just something tiny, a daily or a regular routine, just sitting in front of your altar and lighting a candle just for a couple of minutes can kind of calm you down and give you a chance to ground and center before you start your day, to keep that positive energy flowing and dispel the negative vibes. Crystals I've mentioned, hold them, keep them in your handbag, tuck them in your bra. Then you've got that energy with you that you can draw on if you need it. Meditation, just 5 minutes a day can really help. It can really give you that guidance, that support, that kind of right frame of mind. Spells, the Curative Magic book's got spells in for all of those issues, but you can work out your own and tailor it to you to deal with those issues. And a ritual. The book's got rituals for each as well. You can do a regular ritual to kind of clear that space and put you in the right frame of mind to deal with things and help clear some of those underlying issues too that cause it. I also like to work with what I call a magic bundle. It's a shamanic kind of pouch thing. It's literally just a piece of material with items in that I use for journeying. And I add to that depending on what issue I'm dealing with. So there's lots and lots of different magical and mundane ways you can deal with things. Bless you, Xenia. Thank you. Let's bear in mind, everyone's thanking me for the community. The community is made up of all of you guys as well. If it was just me, it wouldn't be a community. So you guys rocking up each week and supporting each other makes the community. We're in this together. So thank you to all of you guys as well. Denise, I've suffered greatly with all this and have just sent a link to a lovely friend who's suffering greatly with anxiety at the moment. Thank you for this. I think it's so helpful to so many. We're in it together. Now, you've done exactly that. You've just sent a link to your friend because you know that they're struggling at the moment. That's what we need to do for each other. We do need to support each other. Thank you, Janet. Jackie, I'm a total control freak. Got worse since I moved in with my mother-in-law. Been there, done that, and I totally sympathise with you. Pandemic turning me into having slight OCD tendencies. 2 women in one house is never a good move. The pandemic has done more damage than just COVID. Yes, and I think you're right. I think you are. I don't think we've actually appreciated or accepted how much damage lockdown and the pandemic has done from the social point of view as well. I think we're still coming out of that and learning to deal with the daily social niceties of things. Lemon balm salt, says Sephora, would be a goodie. I think anything that's got citrus is very uplifting, but you have to like the smell. It's no good me suggesting lemon balm if you hate the smell of lemon balm. I do. I think all of the citrusy ones are uplifting, but it has to work with you. And it literally just a little bottle or jar or whatever, a little bag with salt, because salt holds the scent, and a few drops of the scent. And then if you're feeling a bit, you can have a little sniff.
Okay.
What, that bit?
Yeah.
Have a little sniff, and then you go. I never was any good at acting. Erin, scented salt definitely works for me. I find the strong scents will ground me in a panic attack. I think scent is it's one of those senses that can really affect us. So I'm glad it works. Definitely. They've all disappeared. Christine, I often think if we were the way that some tribal ladies gather around in circles and talk about things together, women connections are essential, I think. Yep. When I lived in Windsor, I used to see the Asian ladies all sitting on the pavements and discussing their lives. It sure helps to discuss and share experiences. It helps to know that you are not alone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Janet, need to make one of those scented salts. They are really easy to do. That's literally it. I tend to use the sea salt, the more chunkier stuff. It seems to hold the scent quite well, and literally just a couple of drops of essential oil. It works. Sasha just bought your Curative Magic book and asked for delivery by 10 p.m. today. Impatient me? Nah. Oh, I'm with you on that. Patience is not one of my virtues. Not one of my virtues. No, there you go. Leslie Ann, thank you for that. Leslie Ann has reached out about her condition, and someone else has the same, and offering to chat and friend them. That's it. That's what it's all about. Supporting each other. Absolutely. Definitely. Charlie, colour magic. Yes, really drawn to orange at the moment, but don't have clothes in that colour. Going to get an orange dress. Doesn't even have to be a dress. It could be orange earrings or an orange scarf. Just little bits will help. Orange is the colour of success, but it's a real happy colour. Interesting. Sephora says menopause has robbed me of my sense of smell. Interesting. Xenia, I think people now realize how much damage disasters like a pandemic, wars, or poverty do to the mental health of people. I think we are only just realizing how much damage it has done. Jackie wears essential oils in my diffuser pendant. They're really good, aren't they? I have got one of those. Jackie, love your Curative Magic book. Thank you very much. And if you want any scents to uplift you, Jackie runs Bewitched Botanicals. They do the most amazing soaps, but if you're looking for something with a scent to it, they have body moisturizers, body scrubs, and little perfumes as well that will really, really uplift your mood. So do have a look at Bewitched Botanicals. They're magic in themselves, created by magic folk so that you can wear them as magic folk. Hannah, it's shadow work I think I need to do. Shadow work is a big thing to take on. We do teach it at Kitchen Witch, but we do it with full support because I think that's important. Jane, our chats have definitely led to me finding my tribe. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Sarah, I tend to think people don't want to hear what I'm going through because they're going through it too. They don't need it added. I think it depends what sort of person you are. I mean, I think it helps to share, but not everyone's going to be like that. So it's a way of finding, as Jane says, finding your tribe. Xenia, just realised how much that I do in everyday life. Colour magic with clothes, scents, perfume, jewellery, stones. We're magical folk. We do a lot of it automatically. Karen, my daughter-in-law is heading towards menopause and struggling a bit. I think I'll buy her your book. Oh, bless you. Thank you. It's just about knowledge as well, isn't it? About sharing how we've all dealt with these things. Xenia says, I think it's no bad will, but because they're struggling too with their own problems and have no additional energy. Energy's a big one. Sue's asking for a link. It's Bewitched Botanicals, and I'm sure if Pete's just put it up. There you go. bewitchedbotanicals.com. Lovely people making lovely creations. So do go and have a look. They have some fantastic products that will definitely uplift you from the scent point of view, and a bit of self-care too. Putting nice moisturizer on and nice scents is a little bit of self-care as well. So I'm at the hour and I'm going to bugger off to my reflexology session now because I need to. I think it is important to remember that you're not alone. Remember as well that you're not broken. You aren't broken. You don't need fixing. You just need a bit of support and a bit of TLC, whether that's from you or whether that's from people around you or a bit of both. But it does start with you. So we do have to look after ourselves, because if we're empty, we're not going to be able to look after other people. And I'm very, very much aware that that's advice that I need to take myself. But I will reiterate, if anyone's struggling, do please reach out. There's links on my website for my email contact details. I'm on social media. The Kitchen Witch Gang on the website and social media. There's contacts there for all of us. You're never alone. If you're struggling, do reach out. But self-care is important, and it is about realizing that you can do something about it. It's not easy, and it might take a bit of work, but we can do something about it, definitely. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sue, Barbara, Sephora, Luna, Xenia, Christine, all of you. You're all fab. This wouldn't happen without you guys. So we definitely are a community, and that's Eric. He knows I've finished. Do take care of yourself and do take care of each other. And I will catch you all next week.